Okay, so welcome everyone to this conference with Le Cercle des Langues. I am Chanel and I will be taking you through this evening's conference. So thank you everyone for joining us. Just for everyone's knowledge, the conference will last for 25 minutes. And then for the last 5 minutes, we will have an answer and question section. So please feel free to write down your questions either on a piece of paper or in the chat, and we will have a look at them at the end. Tonight's conference is called Learning English Slang with Series and Movies. So this is a B1 to B2 level conference. You will be sent the conference after tonight's conference. So you will be sent the PDF via email. So you are more than welcome to compare your notes with what you see in the slideshow. So let's begin. In today's conference, we have 4 parts. And the first part is why learn slang from series and movies. So as you know, slang it's not the grammatically correct language. They are shortened words or phrases that are very informal. And we can compare it to Verlan, for example. So why learn slang from series and movies? Number 2, we will look at popular series and movies for learning slang. So to understand this informal part of language. Number 3, we will look at common slang phrases and their meanings. And then in the last section for today, we will look at tips for learning slang effectively. So let's begin. Today we are going to study words and expressions that are separate from formal English and are shown mainly in music videos, series, and movies. Therefore, prepare your notebook to write down things that will be useful for your conversations with people that you meet. Why should we learn slang from series and movies? Learning slang from series and movies can be highly beneficial for several reasons. First, we have authentic language exposure, real life usage. Series and movies provide a context for how slang is used in real life situations. This helps learners understand the nuances and the appropriateness of slang. It gives us cultural insight. That means slang often reflects cultural trends, societal values, and historical contexts. It also gives you enhanced listening skills. There are a variety of accents, and you have exposure to different accents and dialects, which helps improve listening skills and comprehension. You also look at the natural speech pattern. Series and movies feature natural speech patterns, including contractions, intonation, and informal language, which are crucial for fluency. Slang can also help improve communication. So learning slang through series and movies can help improve communication. For example, your conversational skills. Knowing slang enables you to engage more effectively in casual conversations, making interactions with native speakers more natural and enjoyable. So even if you are not using the slang yourself, you are able to understand what someone else is saying, and therefore you can respond effectively. and that it also helps to understand what they are saying. It helps with social integration. Understanding and using slang can help you integrate more easily into social groups and communities where this particular language is spoken. It also helps for memorable learning, like contextual learning. Learning slang in context makes it easier to remember. Associating words with scenes or characters can reinforce memory retention. So for those people who are visual learners, those who appreciate context, learning slang with series and movies can help you retain that information. And it is engaging content. Series and movies are engaging and entertaining, making the learning process enjoyable and less like traditional studying. So now that we've covered the benefits, let's have a look at some popular series and movies for learning slang. The first one, which I'm sure everyone knows, is Friends. And why? Because it is set in New York City. This classic sitcom is filled with everyday slang and idiomatic expressions. We also need to remember that sometimes there are differences between American slang and British slang. So it depends on how far you would like to take your learning. There are also some expressions that myself, because I come from South Africa, so I use British English. Not everyone will use the same expressions, and that's okay. It's good to just be familiar with what these expressions are. A second program is The Office. And why? It's because it provides a great mix of workplace jargon and casual American slang. What we could find also is the speed at which they speak, because in both series you have native English speakers. So they are going to speak really fast. So sometimes it helps to put the subtitles. However, we need to be aware that the translation might not always be 100% correct. However, it will give you context. Another series is Stranger Things. So why is Stranger Things a good series to watch for slang and jargon? It's because it is set in the 80s and the series blends period-specific slang with modern expressions. So because it is set at the time in the 80s, which is very different from our present, you are going to hear expressions that are very different from the time, and that could also give you context in different conversations, especially if you were born in the late 80s to 90s, you can see the difference. A wonderful series is also The Bodyguard. So The Bodyguard is actually a drama, and it's quite difficult from your comedy, sci-fi, so it gives you a different element of language usage. And what is great about it, it is a British drama as well. So it gives you the other side. It gives you an impression of the other side of English. So with this British drama, war veteran David Budd finds work as a police sergeant in London, and it includes daily life and crime expressions. So then you will see that link begin to change, because now we have a different element. A wonderful series is How I Met Your Mother. Why is How I Met Your Mother such a great series? It's because it features a lot of urban slang and colloquial speech. What is great about How I Met Your Mother, you become used to the characters, so it helps with the accent because they have many seasons. And because there are so many seasons, you begin to understand the way that each character speaks. And once you become used to it, it is better for your ear to hear the accent and understand what they are saying. The series is very fast paced. That means the rhythm is quite fast. So people are speaking a lot at different times. It could be difficult for a beginner English learner, but it's a good challenge. It's a very good challenge, and it's it's a comedy, so it's quite great. If we are looking at very advanced English, we are looking at the series The Crown. Why? Because what better way is there to learn the Queen's English than from the Queen herself? So a little joke. We talk about the way they speak, and we refer to it as the Queen's English because it is a slightly more formal English than the spoken English of today. It includes historical information, and the language can be useful for advanced students. So you will see an advanced kind of vocabulary. You will notice how they speak, the way they shape their mouths, the way they say their words, the vowels. It is a great way to learn about intonation when we are speaking English. So now those are our series. Now we are going to look at a list of movies that represent many slang and useful expressions. Pirates of the Caribbean, very particular, but Pirates of the Caribbean has an edge of the pirate kind of slang, but also you will notice many contractions. So I wouldn't, Pirates of the Caribbean for grammatically correct wouldn't be the best, but it is still a good thing to watch because of their familiar phrases, the way they speak. It's a great movie. Forrest Gump for a second, also because of the time. If you look at Forrest Gump, the time that it has occurred in history also gives us a different element of how the language is spoken. And the words that they use, that he uses, that the cast uses, is quite different and could be quite interesting. The Marvel Cinematic Universe. Why? A very popular topic, especially when they use the vocabulary for superheroes, for the universe. It's quite particular, but it can be quite interesting to watch, especially if you are a visual learner. Superbad is another movie. Catch Me If You Can. Pulp Fiction. The Wolf of Wall Street. Guardians of the Galaxy. Deadpool. Spider-Man. So before we carry on, all those movies have a very different style. So it's good because it expands our understanding of slang that is used. So what are some of these common slang phrases and their meanings? What are they? Let's have a look. So before we carry on, do you know any slang words or expressions? Feel free to write them in the chat and we will have a look at them. So, we have the word dope, which in slang means cool, great, or impressive, and it's mostly used in the USA. For example, oh my goodness, that car is dope, meaning it's great, it's impressive. We have another saying, and it says go with the flow. This means to adapt to a situation or follow the general consensus. Because there is the verb go, you need to conjugate it accordingly. So if someone says, just go with the flow, they are telling you to adapt, to relax, and to just follow on the path. To throw in the towel. To throw in the towel means to give up or to surrender. So if someone says, I'm done, I am throwing in the towel, it means that they are giving up. A saying that I think is one you are familiar with, it is what's up, or in America, sup. So they've literally taken away the word what, and they've just put the S with up to say what's up. And this is an informal greeting, meaning how are you or what is going on. What have you been up to or what you been up to? Again, what have you been up to is slightly more formal than what you've been up to. What you've been up to is used in the USA, so in America. What have you been up to simply means what have you been doing? So it's like saying, what did you do during the week? Or since we have seen each other, what have you been up to? No worries. No worries is like saying, don't worry about it, or it's okay. En français, on dit ne vous inquiétez pas. It's exactly the same. And piece of advice. If someone says, piece of advice, it means they are about to give you a helpful suggestion or a recommendation. Another one, which is more used in the USA, is when someone says sick. Sick, the real meaning is when you are ill, malade. So when someone says sick in this way, it means awesome or impressive. LOL or lol, which is to laugh out loud. And it's used to indicate laughter or amusement. It was generally used in texting, so when you type a message, but now we find that people are actually using it in conversation. When you speak about a squad, a gang, it is generally a group of close friends or teammates. And to chill is to relax or to take it easy. To ghost someone is to suddenly disappear or stop communicating with someone, normally in dating. So if you have been speaking to someone for a period of time and suddenly the person stops messaging, stops phoning, stops calling, we call that when you ghost someone. A dude or a guy or a lad or a bro are all informal terms used to address a male. And it's important to know that they are informal. A girl, a gal, or a lass is again an informal term used to address a female. We need to be careful using them in certain situations because they are often very familiar terms. So if you know someone really well, then the term is okay to use. It would not be advisable in more formal situations. So what tips are there for learning slang effectively? Let's have a look. Immerse yourself in the language. Watch movies and TV shows. Choose popular series and movies that are known for their use of slang. So I have given you a list of series and movies that you can watch to understand and to learn their use of slang. Listen to music. Songs often include slang and can help you get used to the rhythm and context in which slang is used. Sometimes you can sing along with the lyrics. Read books and magazines. Contemporary fiction and magazines can provide insight into current slang usage. Try reading a few pages per day. Then we have the Urban Dictionary. This is a great resource for looking up slang terms and their meanings. Check with other sources if you are unsure of the reliability. When you check with sources, it helps to also understand if a term is informal, formal, could be slightly offensive, and all of these you can do research on the internet. All of the resources are available. And then we have slang apps. There are various apps available that focus on teaching slang and colloquial expressions. Interact with native speakers or language exchange partners. Find a language exchange partner who speaks English natively. You can help each other learn by conversing regularly. You also have social media and online communities, which help you engage with native speakers on platforms like Reddit, Twitter, or language learning forums. And then you can engage with various media forms, podcasts and vlogs. Many content creators use slang in their speech. Listening to podcasts or watching vlogs can expose you to contemporary slang. Gaming and streaming. Engage in online gaming communities or watch live streams where slang is frequently used. In conclusion, by consistently exposing yourself to English slang through series and movies, you'll not only expand your vocabulary, but also improve your listening skills and your cultural understanding. Enjoy the process, and soon you will find yourself speaking more naturally and confidently. As I have said, it is not slang is a choice. So if there are some sayings that are familiar and that you are comfortable, I think it is one way to learn and understand the slang. But if you are more comfortable using language as it is, as you learn it, that is fine as well. So Melissa has asked, could you tell us how to learn the English with series? Can we watch the series in English and put the French subtitles, or watch the series in French and put the English subtitles? I found it could be difficult to learn if all the series is in English. I need to translate a lot of words. So, I suggest you start with the series in French with the subtitles in English. I know sometimes the translations are not good, but to begin. So you start looking at the English on the screen. When you are comfortable, you change. You watch the series in its original language, but with the French subtitles, so that now you have a level higher and you give yourself time to become comfortable. Then, when you feel you are comfortable, maybe 80%, take the subtitles away. Okay? In the beginning, I know it's very difficult. But if you can watch a series that is 20 minutes, 30 minutes, not too long, it's good for the brain, but it will not be too tiring for you. So that's my advice. Subtitles are great in the beginning. And the more comfortable you become, you can take away the subtitles. So if you feel comfortable to leave the English and put the French subtitles, do it. And in time, you take away the subtitles. So that's my advice. A short series, 20, 30 minutes, one episode a day. If you would like, 2 episodes, so it's not too tiring, and use the subtitles. Okay? My pleasure, Melissa. Do you have any questions or any comments to make about today's conference? You can now unmute your microphone. No? It was good? So, thank you everyone for joining me with this conference. And the most important thing is that you enjoy the process. Language can be very challenging, but find a series that you like and watch it to enjoy. Even if you don't always understand everything, the brain is so good at just taking the information. So you will be sent the conference via PDF, and I hope to see you next week. Have a wonderful weekend, everyone. Bye.